Yo, what's good guys, it's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time is definitely a crazy one, definitely a good one. And if you guys have been watching this channel for a while, I think you'll really enjoy this one. If you don't know who the TikTok girl is yet, or you haven't heard any of the previous story times leading up to this one, I'm gonna link a playlist, first link in the description. Go watch that first, because like you gotta be caught up to speed. I mean, I guess you don't have to, but it would definitely help if you watched the first TikTok girl video first, and then came back to this video. Anyway, I'm rambling. If you don't want to go watch those videos, basically, there's this girl. She used to make TikToks. I also used to date her a long time ago. And she's kind of turned into a crazy stalker, to put it lightly. So yeah, today's story time all starts off as a normal day a few days ago. Literally 3 days ago. I was having a great day. I was really excited because I was actually going on a little bit of a vacation. It wasn't like a far away vacation. I was driving like 45 minutes away from where I live, and I was renting a really nice house at a ski resort. And at this ski resort, you could, ski, snowboard, all the snow related stuff. There's also like a spa slash like hotel thing that you can go to and get like massages and shit. And yeah, basically me and my friends were going to this place to go snowboarding and stay there for a couple days and just have a nice fun trip, right? So we get to our house. It was a really nice house on the top of this mountain, and the ski slash snowboard resort was like right there, like 2-minute walk from our house. And I was stoked. I was so excited. We got there, I unpacked, and I was just ready to have a nice couple of days. I had videos recorded and ready to go, so I didn't have to worry about making YouTube videos while I was there. But little did I know, a YouTube video would follow me there. Specifically, a girl from my YouTube videos, the TikTok girl. So fast forward to the next day of my trip. Day 1 was perfect, no complaints there. But day 2, I wake up pretty early, and none of my friends are awake. And I really want to go snowboarding, but I'm pretty hungry, so I decide to head over to like the hotel slash massage place, because they have like a little cafe there. And I go into this building and I start eating something. And right across from my table where I'm eating is the massage parlor place where you could like go in and get massages. And I'm reading the sign, and there's like prices out front of how much it costs to get one. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, you know what? The massages there aren't that expensive. I haven't had a massage in years, and I got nothing to do today until my friends wake up, so I'm gonna get a fucking massage. I'm gonna treat myself, right? So after I eat, I walk over to the massage place. I pay the lady at the front desk to get one. She then leads me into a room where I sit down, and she's like, hey, so, yeah, basically just get undressed and lay on the table. And I was like, okay. And she walks out. And I'm sitting there like, wait, how undressed did she mean? Like, is she talking like, just pants and, shirt off? Or is she talking like full-blown naked, right? Now, I don't want to get full-blown naked just because, one, I don't feel comfortable doing that, and two, what if that's not what she meant, and then this poor woman walks in and I'm just naked? Fuck that. So yeah, I basically got undressed to only my boxers, and then I put a robe on. They had like robes in the room that you could wear. And I'm having a great time. I look like a fucking baller. I'm wearing this fuzzy robe. I got slippers on. I'm ready to get a massage. I was stoked on it, right? And that same lady walks back in the room like a minute later. She goes, okay, you ready? I was like, yeah. And she goes, okay, cool. One of our very best will be in the room very soon with you. And I was like, okay, awesome. And then she said her name. She was like, yeah, you'll love her. Her name's this. And the name, first name, was a name that I've heard before many times. It was the name of the TikTok girl. But the TikTok girl has a very common first name, and when I heard that name, it didn't worry me. I had no thought in my mind that the TikTok girl was at this ski resort, like in the middle of nowhere where I was. The chances were just too slim. It's impossible, right? So anyway, yeah, the lady walks out of my room and tells me that their very best will be in soon, and she had the same name as the TikTok girl, so I'm just laying on this table in a robe, wearing a mask because of the pandemic and stuff. And yeah, I'm just laying there on the table, waiting for this massage lady to come in, this new girl, and I'm just chilling there, right? Now, a few minutes later, the door, I hear a knock on it. The door swings open, and this girl's standing there, and she goes, "Hey, how you doing? Like, nice to meet you." And her voice sounded so familiar. I couldn't see her face because she was wearing a mask, and so was I. But she sounded familiar, her name was familiar, and I was like 70% sure it was the TikTok girl. I was like, no way is she here right now. That's all I could think in my head. Like, holy shit, no way she works here, no way she gives massages. That's just impossible. So after she walks in and she sees me wearing my mask and this robe, she's like, "You can take the robe and the mask off, like, you can just be in your boxers." And I was like, okay, I'll keep the mask on though. And she goes, "Okay, you don't have to, just so you know." I was like, "No, it's alright, I want to." Now, like I said, I wasn't 100% sure it was her, but I was like pretty damn sure. Like, same voice, same name, the eyes looked the same. The only confirmation I was missing was her entire face because she was wearing a mask. So I keep my mask on because I don't want her to recognize me. And I forgot to mention, I'm doing the fakest voice ever. The minute she walked in, I was like, "Oh, nice to meet you." Like, I had my voice all fake deep because I didn't want her to recognize my voice. And yeah, I lay down on the table and she starts giving me a massage. And I can't lie, it was a pretty damn good massage. But I'm just laying there practically having a panic attack because I really think this is the
Yes,
TikTok
please.
girl giving me a massage right now. And if she finds out it's me, there might be a problem. You know, the last time I spoke to her, it seemed like we were ending things off on somewhat civil terms, but not really. And also, I don't really know how angry she was with me still. So I didn't want her to recognize me. And she starts talking. She's like, "So what do you do for a living?" And I'm like doing this fake deep voice. I'm like, "Oh, I run a podcast." She was like, "Oh, what's it called?" And I'm like, Luan. That's what I came up with. Fucking Luan. Instead of saying Luna, I said Luan. And she goes, "Oh, that's awesome. Like, what do you talk about on there?" And I was like, "Oh, I just like tell stories and, like talk about stuff." And she's like, "Oh, you tell stories? I used to know somebody that does that. Except he did YouTube videos, and his videos were probably a lot worse than your podcast." I was sitting there in my head thinking like, "Oh, she's talking shit. She's talking shit right now about me, and she doesn't even know that I'm in the room." And she goes, "Yeah, his name was Luna. He made videos about me." And the funny thing is, you kind of sound like him a little bit. And I was like, "Oh, that's funny. Well, I'm sorry I did that." And I am laying there face down on this table, trying not to fucking lose my shit. Like, I was freaking out on the inside. I don't know how she wasn't recognizing me. I think the only reason she didn't recognize me is because I was wearing a mask, changing my voice, and I had a different hairstyle than I usually do. I just got a haircut. But even with all those things combined, I still couldn't believe she didn't know I was laying right in front of her getting a massage. Like, I don't know. Anyway, after she talked shit about me in my videos for like 5 minutes straight, she's like, "So, what else do you do? Like, you work anywhere else?" And I was like, no, I just do the podcast." And she goes, "Cool, you should put it in my phone. I'll follow you." And she takes out her phone and she pulls her mask down to do the Face ID. And that's when I knew it was her. Like, I already pretty much knew it was her by the voice and the way she was talking. But when she pulled her mask down and I saw her face, I was like, "Yep, that's the TikTok girl." And she hands me her phone and she goes, "Here, follow yourself. Like, I want to watch your stuff later." And I am fucked at this point. I have two choices. I either take my mask off and show her it's me and say like, "Hey, my bad, it's me, Luna." Like, basically just blow my own cover. Or I have the choice to try and find somebody actually named Luan that does a podcast. So I start looking up the name Luan and I can't find anything. No one with that name that does a podcast. Or at least I can't find anything fast enough. Like, nothing came up immediately. And I am just so freaking out right now. So I can't find a channel named Luan that does a podcast because I made it up. And after I'm like looking for the channel for like a minute, she goes, "You know what? I'm sorry. Like, I'm cutting into your massage time. This is so unprofessional. Like, you can lay back down. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bother you." And I hand her phone back to her, and I'm thinking to myself like, "Oh, thank fuck." And I'm like, "Don't worry, it's all good." And I put my head down again, and she goes back to giving me the massage, and we get back to talking. And I decide like, you know what? I want to hear a little more about myself. I want to see what else she has to say about me. So I'm like, "So this Luna character, how'd you know him?" And she's like, "Oh, I used to date him a long time ago, and then, we broke up, and, we had a pretty rocky relationship, but, enough about me. Do you date anybody?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do. She's awesome." And she's like, "Oh, that's great. Like, I'm happy for you." And we just kind of keep making small talk, right? So fast forward 30 minutes later, the massage is now done. I'm about to make it out of this situation alive, and I'm about to be home free. She's packing up her things. I'm getting dressed, and she goes, "All right, have a wonderful day. Hopefully I see you again soon." I was like, "Yeah, for sure. You too." And she walks out of the room, right? and I am sweating. I am so nervous. My face is drenched in sweat. I'm wearing a mask. I have sweat all over my face, stuck to the mask. So I take the mask off after she walks out of the room to get some fresh air and get my face cooled off. And the minute I take the mask off, the door swings back open, and it's her. And she goes, "Sorry, I left my phone." Austin? And I try to throw my mask back on. I'm like, what? And she's like, "I knew you look familiar. What the fuck are you doing here?" I was like, "What are you doing here? You give massages? Since when? When did you become qualified to do that? Like, what?" She's like, "I've been doing this for like 4 years, you dumbass." I was like, "Okay, sorry I didn't say it was me, but I was afraid you were going to hurt me or something." She's like, "Why would I hurt you? This is where I work. I'm not going to get fired over you." I was like, "Whatever." She goes, "Okay, whatever. I left my phone in here. I'm going to grab it and just go." I was like, "Okay, sounds good." So she walks over to the table. She grabs her phone. She looks back at me, and she's like, "Are you going to make a story time video about this?" I was like, "Can I?" And she's like, "Honestly, I don't care anymore. Whatever. Sure." And she walks out of the room. And I am just dumbfounded and just shocked that it went the way it did. Like, she must have matured over the last few months or something, because she seemed a lot more chill than usual. And I don't know. I mean, she did call me a dumbass and did yell at me, but she was still a lot more calm than what I've seen before. Anyway, I went back to my house after this. I walk in. All my friends were awake at this point. And I was like, "You guys are never going to guess what just fucking happened." And my friends were like, "What? What happened?" I was like, "I just got a massage from," and I said her name. And my friends were all like, "Holy shit, she works here?" I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Yo, whoa, your luck is insane, man." So yeah, after this we just went snowboarding and had a nice normal day, and I didn't see her for the rest of that trip. But I just couldn't believe that it panned out the way it did. Truly crazy in my opinion. But yeah, that's pretty much where that story time ends. You know, it's been a pretty normal couple days since then, haven't heard from her. And that's pretty much that. But yeah, guys, I thought the story time was a really crazy one. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below, and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys all later. Peace. Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time is definitely a pretty good one, pretty interesting one, and definitely a pretty crazy one. I was browsing my channel today, just looking through old videos, and I was watching one of my old videos called My Crazy Babysitter, and I was just watching it and just kind of, reminiscing, and a story time popped into my head that I can't believe I haven't told yet, and it's not about her. It's not about my old babysitter or anything, but it is about a babysitter who was definitely more than crazy, and it was my friends, and me and him had to both spend a night with her in the house, and it was crazy to say the least. That's all I have to say. Let's jump into this. So today's story time all takes place back in 2012. Now in 2012 I was definitely old enough to not need a babysitter. Everybody in my age group was pretty much old enough to not need to be supervised by a babysitter if their parents weren't home. But my friend, on the other hand, let's just call this friend Jimmy. Jimmy was a little bit of a bad kid, and his parents were going out of town for spring break. Now you're probably wondering, Austin, why the hell are his parents going out of town for spring break? Like, what are they, 20 years old? Yeah, that's what I thought too. When Jimmy told me his parents were going out of town for spring break, the first thing I said was like, "Dude, are your parents in their 20s? Like, why the fuck are they going to party for spring break?" He's like, "Dude, they both work at a school, so they get off for spring break, and they're going to celebrate." And I was like, "Damn, your parents are definitely living shit up." He's like, "I know, man, and the worst fucking part is I'm getting a babysitter for the entire week." I was like, "So wait, let me hear this straight. You're going to be home all spring break, off school with no parents, but you're going to have a babysitter?" He's like, "Yeah, dude, don't fucking remind me." I was like, "That fucking sucks." He's like, "I know, dude. If you want to hang out at all this week, like, please, like, invite me over, because I don't want to be there with her. Like, I don't know who this is. I've never met her before. I don't want a damn babysitter. I'm old enough to be on my own." And while that was true, he was definitely old enough to take care of himself. But like I said just a second ago, Jimmy was a little bit of a shithead. He definitely got into trouble more than the average kid did. And so did I, and I think that's why me and Jimmy were such good friends back in the day. So anyway, fast forward to spring break starting. I was home all week, just playing Xbox, doing what I usually do. Jimmy would hop on Xbox every other day and just be like, "Dude, I fucking hate this. Like, my babysitter's a psycho. She won't let me leave my house. Like, she's ridiculous." And then I would be like, "Dude, why don't you come spend the night at my house?" He's like, "No, dude, you don't understand. I can't go anywhere. Like, if I try to go for a walk, she won't let me leave. If I try to go to another friend's house and ask her if I can go, she'll say no. Like, I can't go anywhere. I was like, can you have friends over there? He's like, I don't know, let me ask her. And he gets up, and he comes back like 5 minutes later, and he's like, yeah, you could come over if you want. I was like, fuck it, man, I'm down. He's like, you sure? I was like, yeah, why not? Because I thought about it for a second, and I'm like, you know what? She's probably not that bad. Like, she's probably just strict or something, like, whatever. So I go over to his house, and immediately upon meeting this babysitter, I was like, oh, she's definitely really strict. Like, the minute I got there, she's like, hi, Austin, nice to meet you. I'm babysitting for Jimmy. Just so you guys know, bedtime is at 1 a.m., no later. And that's when I was like, dude, what? Like, bedtime, bro? Like I said, 2012, we were old enough to be not having a fucking bedtime. Like, you know what I mean? So I just kind of thought about it. I was like, you know what, whatever, who cares? I go to bed at 1 a.m. usually. And he's like, shit, all right, let's go tell the babysitter. And he runs upstairs as fast as he can, yelling.